Hey everyone, welcome to Learn Lab. Today we're diving into a big what-if scenario that could reshape our daily lives and the entire global economy. The question is simple, but the answer is incredibly complex. If the war on Iran continued and send oil prices through the roof, would that be the final push for electric cars to take over the world? Let's break it down. First, let's set the stage. The Strait of Hormuz. You've probably heard of it, but its importance can't be overstated. It's a tiny choke point, a narrow strip of water, but a staggering 20 to 30% of the world's total oil supply passes through it every single day. A conflict in this region could effectively shut down that tap overnight. We saw a glimpse of this in the 1970s with the oil crisis. Gas stations had lines for miles, prices skyrocketed, and suddenly the big gas-guzzling cars of the era looked a lot less appealing. Now imagine that scenario on steroids. If the Strait of Hormuz were to close, analysts predict oil could easily jump to $200, maybe even $300 a barrel. To put that in perspective, your regular trip to the gas station could suddenly cost you 2, 3, or even 4 times what you're paying now. We're talking 10, 12, maybe even $15 a gallon in some places. The economic shock would be immediate and severe. Everything we buy, from groceries to electronics, would get more expensive because transportation costs are baked into the price of everything. For the average family, this would be a devastating blow to their budget. So in this chaotic world of insane gas prices, the electric car starts to look like a knight in shining armor, doesn't it? The sales pitch writes itself. No more gas stations. No more worrying about global oil politics. Just plug in your car at home, and you're good to go. The cost to fill up with electricity would be a tiny fraction of what your neighbors are paying for gasoline. You'd feel like a genius, saving hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars a month while everyone else is panicking. It seems like a no-brainer. The demand for EVs would explode. People who were on the fence would rush to dealerships, and those who never even considered an EV would suddenly be desperate to get one. But here's where the story gets more complicated. An explosion in demand is one thing. Meeting that demand is another beast entirely. Let's talk about the supply chain. Building an electric car isn't like baking a cake. It requires a massive, intricate global network of suppliers for thousands of different parts. The most critical of these, as we all know, are the batteries. EV batteries rely on specific raw materials like lithium, cobalt, and nickel. Right now, the mining and processing of these materials are concentrated in just a few countries. China, for example, absolutely dominates the battery supply chain, from processing the raw materials to manufacturing the finished battery packs. A sudden massive spike in demand for electric vehicles would put an unbelievable strain on this system. We're already seeing bottlenecks and price fluctuations for these materials, even with the current, more gradual shift to electric vehicles. Now imagine the entire world trying to switch over in the span of a year or two. The price of lithium and other key minerals would skyrocket, just like oil. This would drive up the cost of producing an EV, potentially erasing a lot of the initial savings you'd expect. Car manufacturers would be in a frantic race to secure these materials. It would be a global scramble. And let's not forget building a new car factory, or even retooling an old one to produce electric vehicles. It takes years and billions of dollars. It's not a switch you can just flip. So you'd have this massive wave of desperate buyers, But automakers would be struggling to produce enough cars to meet that demand. The result? Long waiting lists, maybe years long, and skyrocketing prices for the few new and used EVs that are available. A used Tesla or Lucid might suddenly sell for more than a new one, simply because you can get it now. Then there's the infrastructure problem. Let's say magically we could produce millions of new EVs overnight. Where would they all charge? Our current electrical grid is already under strain in many parts of the world, especially during peak times like summer heat waves. Now add millions of electric cars plugging in every evening when people get home from work. That's a colossal amount of new demand for electricity. Without massive, and I mean massive, upgrades to our power generation and distribution systems, we could be looking at rolling blackouts and an unstable grid. And who pays for these upgrades? It would require trillions of dollars of investment from governments and utility companies. And that money has to come from somewhere, most likely our taxes and electricity bills. So while you're saving money on gas, your electric bill could potentially go up significantly to cover the cost of modernizing the grid. And this isn't a project that happens in a few months. We're talking a decade or more of construction, planning, and investment to build the kind of robust grid that could handle a fully electric transportation system. And what about charging on the go? We'd need a vast network of public fast chargers, far more than we have today. Every apartment building, every workplace parking lot, every shopping center would need to install chargers. Otherwise, you create a new class of transportation inequality, where only people who own single-family homes with a garage can reliably charge their cars. For the millions of people living in apartments, it would be a logistical nightmare. So let's bring it all together. A war with Iran and the resulting oil shock would undoubtedly be the greatest marketing campaign for electric cars in history. The immediate pain at the pump would make the alternative incredibly attractive. In the short term, EV owners would be the clear winners, shielded from the chaos of the oil markets. Demand would go vertical. However, the transition wouldn't be the smooth, rapid takeover that many might imagine. It would be messy. The world simply isn't ready. The supply chain for batteries and other components would fracture under the strain, leading to shortages and high prices for the cars themselves. Our electrical grids would be pushed to the breaking point, requiring decades of work and trillions in investment to catch up. For a few years, we'd likely see a chaotic market with a huge divide. Those lucky enough to have an EV and those stuck paying exorbitant prices for gas with long waiting lists and high prices for anyone trying to make the switch. Ultimately, a major oil crisis would accelerate the AV transition, no question about it. It would force governments and industries to get serious about building out the necessary supply chains and infrastructure, but it wouldn't be an overnight revolution. It would be a painful, expensive, and chaotic process. The dream of a fully electric future would get a massive adrenaline-fueled push, but the road to get there would be full of bumps, bottlenecks, and blackouts. It would highlight just how dependent we are on complex global systems, whether it's for oil or for the minerals that power our future. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos like this one.